Okay, on number 14, since you're taking a test, I want to make sure you get the right answer. You could definitely solve this by hand, but you could also type what's on the left side and what's on the right side and see what they equal. So let's go do that. That'd be the cubed root. So nth root, and that's the cubed root of 15 minus 7x. And that's plus 15 on the outside. And we're trying to see, when does that equal 17? Now if you just type in 17, Desmos doesn't recognize that, so I need y equals 17. And looking at those, see my cubic function looks like this. It goes up forever and down forever. So the only solution would be right here at the x. And what's the x value? The x value is x equals 1. So I would say x equals 1. Now if you want to know how to solve this by hand, I would reference the practice video. But for the test, this is how I would solve these. Let's do the next one. That's 2 times the cubed root of x minus 5. Two. That's nth root, that's cubic, x minus 5, and we're adding 15 on the outside. Okay, so that looks like a cubic function to me. Well, I should say, and then 5, remember if I type 5 in, it doesn't recognize that, but I can type in y equals 5, and this is going to go up forever, so that's never going to cross there. So let's go see when these intersect. And if you're like me, there we go. Looks like at negative 120. So negative 120 would be my solution. It wouldn't be a bad idea to check your work. So if I plug negative 120 in there, let's see what I get. That'd be 2. And then the cubed root of negative 125. So if this is cubed root of negative 125, what times itself is negative 125? That'd be negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. So the cubed root of negative 125 would be negative 5. And then you add 15. So 3 times negative 5, and that should be a 2, sorry. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 15, that's 5. So I know that the answer is, in fact, negative 120. 16. Again, you could type this in if you'd like. Square root of 21x plus 21. Equals x plus 5. I need to reset this. I'll hit the house to send me home. Okay. Now it looks like we have our radical. That's going to go up forever. And then we have our line, x plus 5. And if you weren't careful, you may not see that they have two solutions. And they have a solution right here at 0.377. So I'll put that down. And then the other solution is right there at 10.623. And pay attention to how you're supposed to round. Number 17, square root of 7x plus 15. And the other side's x plus 1. Look for the solutions. Oh boy, I almost thought there was going to be a solution there, but there's not. So there's only one solution here, and that's 7. If you got this, if you were solving by hand, you would call that extraneous. So the only solution is 7. Next one, 18. Again, I could type that into Desmos. Yes, I prefer you solve these by hand, but I feel like I already got enough videos out there, and I don't want to make you watch a ton of videos. So we got that minus 12. And we're trying to see, when does that equal 0? That'd be the x-axis. Well, it looks like we got a solution at negative 31, and we have a solution at positive 33. So I got 33 and negative 31. So I'd say x equals negative 31, x equals 33. Done. 19. I would type that in. And remember, Desmos does not like b, so I type that in as an x plus 15 to the 3/2. And that's a minus 1. When does that equal 82? Negative 82. Y equals negative 82. And that's going to be way down here. You're only going to cross once. What's the solution? Negative 6. So I'd say not x equals, but b equals negative 6. Alright, number 20. Number 20 is not too bad. Select all of the function transformations needed to transform this into this. Okay, so we're starting with the 5th root of x. And the first thing I see is that we have a negative. And so what does the negative do? When the negative's on the outside, that reflects it over the x-axis. Okay. Now we also have an a. Remember the number out front, that's what does the vertical dilations. This plus h. So remember, and I just noticed that I have a correction that needs made on here. This should say translation of x units to the left or translation of x units to the right. That should say h. So this should say h. And that should say h. So if it's plus h, that's going to do it h units to the left. And then the minus k, that's what moves it down. So I'd say translation of k units down. So again, instead of k, think of that as an h. That should say h. So let's go ahead and fix it on this one. This should say h. And this should say h. Otherwise, none of them are correct. Alright, so on this one, what does the a do? Vertical dilation. What's the minus h do? That moves it h to the right. That'd be d. And what does the k do? That moves it k units up. Okay, so those are not too bad, I don't think.